Hey, what's going on? Kevin Allen is here, and yeah, so I'm really excited about this about something that I discovered just recently here on the Phantom. So let me kind of show you guys. So usually when I go live and I'm doing some performances of some of my music on here, it might look and sound a little something like this. So I'll find one of my songs on here. How about this one? And I'm going to go into the song. I'm going to show you just really quickly what it usually would look like. And before I do that, going into pattern, I would usually be in mute mode for by hitting pad mode and going into mute so that I can take out and add back in certain sounds, certain patterns that I have on here. And let me show you what that looks and sounds like to start with. Okay, so yeah, I didn't have all. Usually that transition into the second part sounds more crazy because I have all the parts going. But just to show you, muting stuff. What I wanted to figure out on this keyboard is, on a lot of these patterns that I have that I've created, a lot of them are set up with just one row of sounds. And I think a good example might be actually this one is definitely a good example. This might have two in some cases, but there's a lot of sounds on this one row, right? There's 10 different tracks here. And this is not a song where all 10 tracks should be playing together. This is a song where certain tracks should be playing together, like 1, 3, and 7, and then 2, 5, and 8, and then 2, 5, 8, and 7, something like that. I could not figure out how to do that. I think I figured out the best way to do it from my knowledge, and a big part of that has to do with if you hit this pad mode, this group play option, number 11. Basically, making groups is something that I never really did on this keyboard because I felt that I didn't understand how to do it properly. I thought I would have to go into pattern utility and then copy each one of these, whatever ones I want, and add them into the next row, and then go back into pad mode, and then go into variation play, and then hit one of these buttons to play the rows corresponding, right? That seemed like way, way, way too much work compared to coming from something like Ableton and being able to hit Control D and just bring the whole row down instantly. I still hope that eventually they do that just to give you more variation of how what your workflow looks like, to be able to just hit a button, duplicate, boom, the whole row is on the next row, duplicate, whole row, something like that, or just drag and dropping maybe even. But for now, I figured out something that I think works very nicely, and I'm pretty excited about it. That's why I set this video up like immediately so I can share the excitement that I have with you guys. Let me make sure I'm still being recorded first. 1 second. Okay, I am. So let's actually stop recording, and then we're going to start up another one so I can show you guys how to set up group play properly. All right. So this is what we need to do. So we get out of here and we go back to this area. I'm going to just stay in pad mode here. So let's listen to what we have on this track. Actually, let's go into mute mode. Just make sure everything is on. Let me listen to how this sounds with all of the rows playing. So that's way too much. So what I would do is I'm gonna hit H. I would have thought H will get rid of everything, but maybe it doesn't. So let me play that again, and then I guess while it's playing, you have to hit one of these gray boxes down here to turn everything off. Let's experiment a little bit with this because I thought that would have worked. Okay, I'm gonna have to experiment a little bit. How do you turn all rows off in one shot? I would have thought hitting a blank row would do it, but it didn't. But that's okay. I hit the gray boxes to get rid of everything, right? So everything, nothing is playing. So say if I wanted the first section, I don't know, to be, let's listen to some of these together and see. So say for example, if I like, I'm going to experiment a little bit more, but I think say if I like those two sounds for to be a part of the song by itself. Okay, I like that. So those are the only two parts playing. Everything else you can see is dim. Those two are kind of lit brightly. So if I hit this grouping button and I hit set, this is going to set those two to this first group. Set, are you sure? Yes. So those two are now set to the first group. One thing that I noticed, and I'm going to show you real quick, going into group, for whatever reason, I would have thought that maybe this is a bug, but I would have thought that if you're setting those two to a group, that by default it should know that the length that you want is the longest of the two patterns that are set, which in this case is 16 bars. Okay, because I think I varied that sound, and I did like a slightly different time each, way to play it each time. So I made it a really long one. So that's how you can do that. Length 16, and that's set there. So now let's come back over here. Let's say if we want to add something else to this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to hit play in a second. So let me actually stop. I'm going to hit play now. So there's like little bugs kind of thing. And what I'm noticing is like I want to hear an audition how it sounds, but in order to do it properly and make sure that it's timed correctly, I have to kind of wait for a cycle to go before hitting the next one to see how it sounds versus just going in and out with like the mute group. So I think there's ways to experiment a little bit. Right now this seems a little bit tedious and something that I probably wouldn't like having to do it this kind of meticulous each way. I'll show you another way that we can consider doing it with the mute group. But for now, let me hit play. So maybe all four of those sounds together, I want to have another group. So I'm going to hit grouping. I'm going to go down. I'm going to hit set. I'm going to go OK. I'm going to go back into grouping. Now, maybe once you're done with all these, then you might want to go back into grouping and change the length so you're not doing it each time, perhaps. But in my case, I'll just show you guys one more time. I'll do it there. So I'm going to do one more and then show you the cool part about this. So let's play. So now I have all those together. Let me go here. And I'm going to actually do one more thing. I'm going to put this on number 3, and then I'm gonna show you like a complete different section of the song and how I envision that this could work nicely. So again, let's leave some of these things in. Let's take this out. See, now when I hit there, I would have thought maybe when it's playing you have to do it. So maybe I might want that section. I took some of the drums out, took most of the sounds out, put 2 brand new kind of sounds in, right? So I might want to go grouping, and then I might go here to this next section, and then I'm going to do one more because there's another cool part of this particular song, which is this one. So I'm going to group these together and put this on the last one. I think what may have happened, and I'm learning myself here, but I believe maybe on this one, on pattern 4, because the play icon was still on, I didn't hit down here. I think that it's not going to have removed the ones that I wanted them to remove. So I think I may have hit the icon to just stop it from playing rather than hitting one down here to like deactivate it. That's okay. Now you can see not to make that mistake, I guess, right? So now we have those set. So I'm going to go now into group, and I'm going to go to each of these that say 1. And I'm actually not gonna, I don't think, for the sake of what we're doing here, because the variation for that one track is so minimal. And if you leave it on 16, you're not going to be able to change to another section until that whole section plays. That might also be something that maybe, an update can come out to say, hey, look, even though I have it set to 16 bars, if I hit the next section, I want it to play that next section when the next measure starts. Right now, it doesn't do that. It kind of keeps going on. So I'm just going to turn all these to 4 just so we can see the different sections really quick. So they're all set to 4. So now what I would do is come back out of here. Now the magic starts. Pad mode. Okay, so now the magic starts. So we go into pad mode and we go into 11, group play. So now, if everything is the way that I expect it to be, when I hit these different buttons over here, it should jump from one section of the song to the next without me having to do what I usually do when I'm performing and playing, which is doing the mute group and just trying to remember what section is which and all that. And this is going to be super helpful for me too, wanting to use this keyboard to make full songs on it and not having to like send the tracks into Ableton or something, which is the reason I bought this keyboard, is because I don't really ever want to use it with the computer if I don't have to, right? I want to be able to do stuff right on the keyboard itself. So I'm going to hit this, and if it works correctly, it should play just certain tracks. Let's see. So I noticed now that a certain track was added, even though I didn't want it to be added because it was on mute. but it wasn't deactivated. That is track 7. I don't want track 7 playing, so I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna deactivate it, and then I'm gonna go back in and re-put this into slot 3, group 3, and see if that fixes the issue, as it definitely should. Alright, so that seems like a quick fix. So let's go back into 3 now and see what happens. Same thing here. I wanted 1 and 6. Remember I told you earlier I wanted 1 and 6 to not be part of this. So I'm going to play it. I'm going to hit the grays. I'm going to add this back to 4 and fix it pretty quickly, which is pretty dope. So now it's playing properly. Now we want to go grouping. I think this was 4. So we set it. Okay. And then try 4 again. Or we can exit and then hit it. That was pretty important too. When I'm in grouping mode and I hit this, look what happens. A new screen comes up, which I think shows you a clearer picture of what patterns are in that group. So that is how you could effectively do some performance. And then say while you're doing that, I'm going to show you real quick here. What I was seeing is that, what if you want to do both? What if you want to have main sections to jump between, as well as be able to mute things out and perform like I kind of do? I like taking things out quick and doing like performance. Well, you can do that. Check it out. So I'm going to play, and then I'm going to show you how to jump from pad mode to mute and then back to group play, seamlessly. Okay, one more thing so you see how dope that is. One more thing I want to show you. If you go into group here and you go into make song, now you can quickly just add sections pretty easily. It's pretty dope. I want this to happen twice. Go down. I want this to happen twice. Go down. I want that once. Down. I want that twice. Down. I want that twice. Boom. Done. If I go song, I can now hit play, I think, and then it'll just start playing. So that's a big deal for me. See the transition without touching anything. Again, I had to do all the transitions myself. Maybe it seems obvious to some. I was frustrated. I couldn't figure it out. Now I know, and now I could enjoy this even more. So edit, let you copy. Can I copy this, and I can bring this somewhere else if I wanted? I can execute, copy and execute it here. Song copy. Okay, so now it goes from 1, and 1 goes back down there. What does loop do? Loop start. You can loop just certain parts while you're, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why you would need to loop, but I don't know. That's fine. You can loop. That's cool. Turn on loop. Okay. Very cool, I guess. You can move certain patterns. And then what about when you're done with this? Let me see. There was a thing that said execute before. So we want to take loop off. How do we do that? Exit. All right, so I'm about to mess something up here. I want to see, how do we take loop off? Is it like that? Okay, so I'm not sure. So if we go back, oh yeah, you can go right to group mode over here too. That's pretty good. Not having hit the button, and then you can go into song mode here. Pretty dope to jump between. So export, I don't know why export was gone before, but it's back here now. Oh, was it in make song? Make song goes back. Song. Edit. Was it in edit? I was in edit mode. That's why. So I have to get out of edit. So if I export, let's see here. You can export song, include parameters, whatever. Cool. You could name it, and then it doesn't let you. Oh, maybe because I need a USB stick. Is that why? Perhaps. Okay, I didn't get this far yet, but that's where I think I wanted to leave it at. I was looking at Roland's new I forget the name of the new hardware thing that you could make beats on and like sing over and stuff. I wonder if eventually you might be able to do something like that on over a song and like sing over it or say something and then it record it perhaps into a linear fashion. That would be cool if eventually we get that, since we can now sample with our voice. But that's where I want to leave it. I think this is a pretty long video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and found some value and something useful out of it. If this is your first time on my channel, definitely check out the other content. I know everyone always says it. I need to say it too, just because that's what the research says. You got to say it. You got to remind people. So yeah, check out the content, and appreciate you guys. Consider subscribing if you're interested in the content. If you like the video, drop me a thumb up on the bottom and drop me a comment to let me know if this was helpful for you guys and maybe what you guys want to see in the next video. All right, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks a lot. Have a good rest of the day or evening or wherever you guys are. All right, peace.